Hello, everyone. I hope you are safe and well. While my daughter is researching some cases for me, I want to jump on here and talk about Bryan Kohberger and the Idaho 4 case. Now, strangely, I have not had enough time to listen to a variety of creators for the past month or two, but I do have my favorites, which I pop into for an update. And on this particular case, it is harsh reality and crime talk. And on the Sebastian Rogers case, which I'm also still following, it is Bullhorn Betty and JLR. But never mind. I have spoken about Bryan Kohberger before, and regardless of the fact that he waived his right to a speedy trial, and so many months down the line, I can still tell you straight and clear where I stand in this case. For me, there are only three choices or possibilities, and those are: number one, he did not do the crime at all; number two, he did do the crime, but not on his own; or number three, he got involved after the fact. From the very beginning, I could not see how Bryan could have done this crime. Kill four young, fit, healthy people all by himself. It is as simple as that. We heard that at least two of the victims fought back, and the one fought back viciously. We also know that Ethan Chapin was strong, healthy, and into sport. So even if Bryan did manage to kill all four, I still cannot see how he could have done it in the time frame police and their death and forensic investigators gave us. As a side note, unless the prosecutors have noticed the mistake they made in this, they are going to get stuck in court. The coroner gave the time of death as about 3 a.m. Police and the phone activity on Zana's phone tells another story, namely that the attack occurred between about 7 or 8 minutes past 4 and 4:20 a.m., which means 12 to 13 minutes, which can even be reduced to 8 minutes if you factor in parking, getting out of a vehicle, and walking towards the house. I personally do not care how many times the police and other creators who believe that Bryan is guilty move those parameters to make it fit. One guy cannot fight with and kill four people and park and walk back and forth between the house and his car and likely also clean himself up in the process in 8 minutes, 12 to 13 minutes, or even 20 minutes. Now, if they were two or he had help of some sort, yes, that would be different. Okay, so from a timeline perspective, I just could not see it. But then Bryan waived his right to a speedy trial, and I thought, uh-oh, why on earth would an innocent guy be prepared to do that? If I was thrown in jail while innocent, I'll be rattling those bars and screaming my innocence and to be let out every single day. So that really threw me for a loop. However, as everything progressed and stories leaked and came out, there was obviously questions. And one of those questions would be why? Why do it at all? And why that house? And why those young people? Goodness, the stories were indeed wild. Bryan saw Zana and Maddie at the restaurant they worked at. They blew him off when he flirted with them, and voila, he was angry and did what he did. But before that, he stalked them. Well, I guess he must have stalked them to find out where they live, as it is a varsity town with a number of girls with similar looks, etc. Another story, he saw them on social media and stalked Kaylee. Bryan had been to one of their parties before, was another one. Bryan was dealing drugs at the house. Goodness. I mean, I'll sit here all day recounting all the stories and speculation, but the fact seems to be that police and the prosecution have no evidence that Bryan Kohberger stalked any of the 4 victims or any of the 2 survivors at all. There is no evidence, from what I understand, that he had any contact with anyone in the house. As I said, he might have, but there is no evidence that he did. But now it gets even better. Now, apparently, allegedly, someone, a man by the name of Cy Ray, is helping Bryan's defense prove that he was not in Moscow, Idaho, the night of the murders. Now, we waited a long time to hear what Bryan's alibi was, and when it finally came out, it was not exactly what we expected. Bryan previously stated that he had a habit of going for nightly drives all by himself. In his alibi or statement, it states that he is an avid runner and hiker who regularly visited the Palouse region. Because Bryan was busier during the day since moving to Washington, his nighttime drives increased, either to go running or hiking at night, or just to stop and decompress and look at the moon and stars. And according to his alibi of the night of the murders, he drove through the area of South Pullman, Washington, west of Moscow, towards and including Wawaii Park. So to conclude today's video, we'll carry on a bit more in the next one. As time passes, it is becoming more and more difficult to find a reason to believe that Bryan killed these 4 people. One, it's hard to believe that a guy could kill 4 healthy young people in less than 20 minutes, and more likely 8 to 11 minutes. 2, it's hard to believe that no trace evidence, speck of blood, or even a single hair was found on him, in his home, or in his vehicle. Nobody cleans that thoroughly. Number 3, initially they were looking for a white 2013 Hyundai, but when Bryan popped into the story, a 2015 Hyundai was just fine. Okay. Number 4, no proof of contact or stalking. And number 5, now it transpires that he may have been somewhere else. Now in the next video I'll sketch a number of scenarios which I think may have played itself out. But for now, considering the 5 points I just mentioned, how can we and or the prosecution find him guilty? I mean, even if he was there is not enough proof. As a matter of fact, there was more circumstantial evidence in the Barry Morphew case than in this one, and Barry got to walk. I think if this is a fair trial based on what we now know, Bryan will also likely walk. So that is my prediction so far, but together with you, we will look into it a bit more deeper with a bit more detail, and at the end of the day, maybe we should take a poll, have a vote. Let's see what we think. Okay, guys and girls, that's it from me for now. I shall see you soon. So until then, please take good care of yourselves and each other. Bye.